Another Thursday night, so that means another Colonial Sports Center coming your way. Men's hockey team battled Mercyhurst this past weekend in a home-and-home series. Well, a home series was on the line for the playoffs.
Going to move from the ice to the court as we sit down with Shakima Dashiell and Janae Brown to talk about their recent hot streak and how they've been able to do it.
It's going to be an action-packed show that you won't want to miss coming up on Colonial Sports Center. Welcome to Colonial Sports Center. I'm Ian Kist, and like usual, the dynamic duo, Rashad Christian, next to me.
Not usual. You're not wearing a sweater vest today.
I am not. I decided to pull up the jacket today.
I like it. It looks good, though.
Thank you. The men's basketball team just wrapped up their game against the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights at the Charles O'Sul Center, and the Colonial squeaked out a 77-76 victory shot. We will get more on those details later in the show.
But for now, last weekend was rather disappointing for the men's hockey team, and they look to remedy that going into their series against Mercyhurst, and they've lost their last 4 Friday night games, and unfortunately, this very sad streak would continue.
Friday nights are games they need to win now.
Definitely. After letting up 4 goals in the second period and scoring none, the Colonials ended up losing to the Lakers in a game that saw 4 total goaltenders get playing time. Derek Barash of Mercyhurst recorded 2 goals and 2 assists, while Brady Ferguson of RMU ended the night with only 1 assist. Pretty disappointing loss for the Colonials there.
Another Friday night loss. Well, now we're going to welcome Spencer Witt, CJ Bekai of RMU Century Media to talk a little, hockey here. Now, CJ, disappointing loss Friday night, 7-4, like Rashad said, another loss. But now let's look in the AHC standings and see what implications that loss had.
Well, we didn't pick up the 2 points that we could have needed, and that would have put us up into the bracket to give us the first round bye. It would also give us the home ice advantage, but we were looking to get that back on Saturday. As Scully always says, you got to pull positives out of negatives, and you got to get those points back when you can.
Now let's take a look at the highlights from the Saturday night game and see what maybe changed for the Colonials.
Yeah, there was something that didn't really seem right in Game 1. So Game 2 was the game the Colonials needed to win and show that they were a top 5 AHC team. Going in, not a great start for the Colonials.
And that's just good puck placement by the defenseman. Isaac didn't really get a chance. He saw the puck, but only for a split second because there was a big screen right there. You could see Mercyhurst right in front of the net. Isaac didn't really have a chance, and he just roofed it.
Yeah, we talked about screens a while ago on this show, and you mentioned it. It's really important. But RMU able to tie the game up here. What did you see on this goal that was really good?
Timmy Moore not giving up on the play. He got that puck back out front, bounced it right off the goalie's back and right into the net. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Mercyhurst was not letting go of this game. They came back, took a 2-1 lead, moving into the third period. What is Mercyhurst doing right so far?
They're playing their game. They're not falling into RMU's patterns that we like to get other teams in so we can play our game. They were really sticking to their guns and getting stuff done.
Yeah, you saw us take it into overtime. Ben Robillard with the puck moving all the way down the ice by himself, able to win the game. What was that, CJ? Talk us through that.
A quick release by Robillard. You could see the snap on the stick. He had a mid kick on his stick, which got the puck to the net a lot faster than say someone else who was on the defense, like Mann. He's got a high kick, which gets it more low end speed.
Yeah, forgot to mention it was senior night.
Yeah,
Ben Robillard, Dalton Isaac, both amazing games. Of course, Ben Robillard with the game-winning goal. Dalton Isaac, 26 saves, huge key saves at the end of the game there to save it for the Colonials. But that's what you want to see out of this Colonials team.
Absolutely.
Now, pretty simple question here. What was the importance of that goal?
It was big for Robillard, and it was also big for RMU as a team. Robillard battling injuries his entire RMU career. Finally getting that goal, I remember talking to him after the game. He was saying it was something special. He felt like it was really something special. He was teary-eyed talking to me about this. He was
moment.
like,
I could imagine.
"Oh,
Yeah,
I wonder what it would be like to score that goal."
Now let's take a look at the updated standings after Saturday night's game. What do you see differently, and what do you your implications? The implications for the Colonials change after that win.
It put us up in the top 5, where I think that the Colonials deserved. They were in 4th place anyway, but they only had 27 points. We need to pick up those wins against Niagara, get those points back, but I think we should be a solid top 5 team, get that first round bye.
What has to change? Now, the Colonials, it's not a Friday night game, it's a Saturday night game at Niagara. It's still the first game of a series. What do the Colonials need to do to break their losing the first game of a series hiatus?
Hopefully, since it's a Saturday game, they won't even think about it. Hopefully, because it is the Saturday game, they won't even think, oh, we're not going to play this like a Friday. We're going to come out, we're going to win.
So it's that mental.
I think it's the mental set that they have, thinking, oh, we're going to lose on a Friday.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure they're not all thinking that.
Yeah.
But when you change up everything, including like the pregame meal and all this stuff, and nothing seems to happen, you just got to think, okay, maybe it's Friday.
Maybe a little superstition in there.
Yep.
It's unfortunate, but sometimes it's just
That
the
is
way
mental
it is.
game. Sports are a mental thing going on for all the players.
Very much
now,
so.
women's hockey was at the 84 Lumber Arena for their last weekend series of the regular season against Penn State at home. The Colonials came off a series sweep of the RIT Tigers the weekend before, so looking to keep things rolling against the Nittany Lions.
Colonials, Nittany Lions.
Let's go, good old-fashioned RMU and Penn State. And Ricky Mayer's going to skate in. They're going to see it better on the replay. And she's going to get the Colonials on the board off of Sarah Quanta's deflection. Block shot does not go, but the senior captain is there. But then right here, Jessica Dodds, too slow there, Spencer. Did not read that way too slow. Something you don't see from the senior too often. But one thing that I want you to talk about, Spencer, right here is what's going to happen right here. You see the shot again.
Dodge was just caught sleeping there, Really give Penn State credit. They were forechecking, they were giving a lot of pressure to Dodge. This is a big surprise that Penn State was able to come out and score as fast and as quickly as they did.
Now we're going to have Penn State on the attack end. Now, Mikey Mayer, the RMU's captain's, Ricky Mayer's cousin for Penn State. Now, she, gets, Ricky a little upset there as it looks like the Dodge was set, but she gets a nice shot off and she gets the goal right there. And Brittany had breaking some ankles.
Move.
And JC Gebhardt's there, 3-2, but that is all she wrote. 84 Lumber Arena, the Colonials go down 3-2. The Colonials struggled to generate any offense, and when they did, PSU's goalie Hannah Ersman denied the Colonials as Ersman was a brick wall for PSU, making 35 saves. It looked promising after JC Gebhardt scored the Colonials' second goal in the third period, but Penn State would shut things down from that point on. And now, Spencer, what did you take away from game one?
A little bit disappointing. I remember talking in the beginning of the game, during our pregame, the Colonials struggled a little bit defensively against RIT in that series before. They really wanted to come out there and show that Dodds could be one of the top goalies in the CHA. She struggled a little bit against Penn State. I think she will be able to change it around, especially coming into the playoffs in the next couple weeks.
Now, game two, again, almost like the men's, a little different, and we're going to, take a look at that right now.
Yeah, it was a double action kind of night as the women's hockey team had their senior night as well. And their lead on Syracuse for the number one in CHA is very slim at the moment, and this game holds a lot of weight to it. So could they cushion the lead? We're going to have to find out after this. Colonials, Nittany Lions, part two. You see there all these seniors moving out. Very emotional night, I would imagine, for any senior going into your last few games of the season. Talk about how much weight this had for the Colonials in terms of senior night.
I mean, senior night was obviously huge, especially them. They wanted to get that last win at the 84 Lumber Arena. It was also huge in the fact that Syracuse was also leading against RIT that weekend as well. Definitely want to cement that first spot in the playoffs. You're the 8th team in the nation. You should win your conference, simply put.
Yeah, we see Amanda Penaledo with the amazing goals. So this game, of course, means a lot. Would you call this a must-win game? Probably one of the most important ones of the season.
For the most part, yeah, I would agree with that. I think that you can't let Penn State come into your own arena and just take two away from you, especially with Syracuse right on your heels.
Yeah, we saw the beautiful no-look pass by Brittany Howard, something she does very well. Their home record is now 11-2-3, and their lead on Syracuse is now slightly more comfortable. This game also marked the second time the Colonials have held an opponent scoreless all season. Amanda Penaleo and Annetta Ledlover were the two responsible for the team's goals, while Gebhard and Howard found their way onto the stat sheet with an assist each.
So now we're going to take a look at, Spencer, the playoff bracket, going into the last series against Lindenwood. What are your takeaways from, taking a look at this bracket right now?
Well, you want to get that first round bye. That's obviously huge, and you play either Penn State or RIT, and we just talked about before, Penn State beat them in game one. This is a one-game series. You lose, you're out. No exceptions. They defeated RIT in 2, and you definitely want to see one of those two teams. You expect Lindenwood to lose to Mercyhurst. Mercyhurst gave the Colonials a lot of problems as well, so definitely want to get that 1 seed to get the better opportunity.
No, real quick, how does the play of Jessica Dodds, we saw her lose 3-1 and then 2-0. What does she have to do against Lindenwood if she starts to get that momentum back up?
I expect a shutout from them. This is a struggling Lindenwood team. They don't score. They do not score very often. And the Colonials, unfortunately, have lost to them as well. Jessica Dodds was in the net in that game in which they lost. It's really, you want to shut them out or at least let them only score once or twice. Okay. Really send that message to the teams that they're going to play in the playoffs.
Well, guys, that's all the time we have for our hockey discussions. It was a pleasure having you guys on the show. Great input, like always.
Yep.
When we come back, we will have basketball as we talk about the game the Colonials just had in the previous games this weekend. And Rashad will sit down with 2 players from the women's basketball team, all coming up on Colonial Sports Center.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. After their collapse at Bryant a week ago, men's basketball turned to their matchup against the Central Connecticut Blue Devils Saturday to turn their fortunes around in their last road game of the regular season to Connecticut.
Any big game.
Colonials, Blue Devils. Sorry, that was short.
Any game, it's all right. Any game for the Colonials from this point on, it's going to be a huge game.
And a defensive collapse here. Clive Allen, right to the rim, and he's going to pull up for his own three-pointer. The Colonials are building a little bit of a lead. And Maddie McConnell to Isaiah Still, slam it, jamma, ding-dong Rashad. It's Isaiah Still at the door.
I like that here.
Braden Burke uses his height. And then the Colonials 30-17 lead. But right there, just like his brother, Maddie McConnell, like TJ McConnell, deep NBA three. And the Colonials, 36-21 lead, a nice, easy shot by Kayvon Stewart. But right here, another slammeroo alley-oop style gives CCSU some momentum.
Give me a high five for that one. I like that.
I like that. And then all of a sudden, the Colonials, 5-point lead, but Isaiah Still. Colonials building another lead right there on the three. Easy, tearing up the defense, Kayvon Stewart. And the Colonials ruled after the 9-11 mark of the opening half, not looking back, keeping their lead for the rest of the contest. Isaiah Still paced RMU with 22 points. Clive Allen and Aaron Tate also finished in double-figure scoring for the Colonials with 12 and 10 points, respectively. Still and Tate also led RMU, corralling 8 total rebounds apiece. And we promised you that we would get to the game against Fairleigh Dickinson that just ended a little bit ago at the Charles L. Sewell Center. They squeaked out a 77-76 lead. Rashad, I'm going to let you take over once again because I know you have your thoughts on this. It was an 11-point lead. You could take it from there.
They led for double digits for most of the game. And, I mean, yeah, they got the win, but you hate to see this happen come tournament time. You're up, have a lot of confidence, and then it's a problem that's been plagued all season long, honestly, and it's something that can't really happen. After winning their last 3 games by double digits, the Colonials looked to push that streak to 4 when they faced off against the Blue Devils of Connecticut, not Duke. Right into the highlight. Not Duke. Colonials, Blue Devils. We're going to go through this highlight pretty fast, no ticker. Just know that the Colonials from the jump had a tight grip on the Blue Devils, and they did not let it up. Yeah, the Blue Devils gave quite a fight, but ultimately it was a strong play of the Colonials. You see Shakima Dashiell with the 3 from the left wing. We'll talk with her in just a second about her performance and the season overall. Moving into the second quarter, still RMU's game. You see all these CCSU highlights and layups and scores, but ultimately, again, Shakima, really strong three-point shooter, shooting 37% from the three-point line this season. Again, Colonials, strong grip on this game as they walk away with the victory. You'll see a last-ditch effort by the Blue Devils, but ultimately that would be that. A strong second quarter was all the Colonials needed to run away with a 23-point victory. This win would complete the series sweep against the Blue Devils of Connecticut. Nika Azevo and Michaela Mulrain led the way for RMU as they scored 12 and 10 points respectively. Just 2 days later, they would play in their second game of the season. We've talked about this a lot over the past few weeks, and by no means are we upset about it. The women's basketball team has won 9 in a row, and they showed no signs of slowing down, but Bryant had something to say about it. Attempt number 2 at ending the streak proved successful for Bryant as they won in overtime fashion. Nikki finished the night with 20 points on 7 of 21 shooting, while Janae Brown finished with 9 points and 8 assists. Even though the Colonials had lost this game, there is no doubt that their last 10 games have been nothing shy of remarkable. And we're going to see over their last 10 games, shooting really well, 56 points, 41% from the field. Strong numbers coming from the Colonials team that's been really strong all season. 51.2 points allowed, great defense. Nikki averaging 17 points per game over these last 10. She's really stepped up as the team's leader in many ways, and 32.6 rebounds per game, helping them in any way they can. We talked earlier in the show, and I'm here to deliver. Guards Shakima Dashiell and Janae Brown have joined us today in studio for a very special interview, guys. I've talked about it a lot. 9-game winning streak. You started the season 8-9. What changed during that time that the streak started that really set you guys in motion?
Well, we first appreciate you for having us on the show.
No problem.
And I think both Janae and I would say that definitely our defense definitely picked up and was more accountable, and definitely keeping a humble mindset, not getting too high and not getting too low. What do you think, Jay?
I think you said it all. Yep.
Yeah. So Coach B, we all know Coach B is vocal. What's one thing he really sticks to throughout the season, and especially during this winning streak? What's his motto, basically?
He preaches a lot about humility, so like not getting too high and too low on your accomplishments. So I think we definitely push for humility in all that we do, especially with the 9-game winning streak. I think that was important.
So how often did he actually mention that you guys were winning game after game after game while you were doing it?
Not too often, but he would mention it just to say, don't get comfortable. Like that tends to happen when you're on a winning streak, you get comfortable. So he just had to keep reminding us that even though we're winning, we still have to do what we know how to do and still play hard.
Yeah, and earlier in the season, you guys beat Bryant by 16 points. Second time around, lost in overtime. What was different the second time around?
I think as a team, we devalue possessions, and you can never get an ounce of just not acknowledging each possession wholeheartedly. And Coach B also talks about opening our arms wide and embracing whatever comes our way. And I'm not sure if we did it every possession. So they definitely capitalize on a lot of our mistakes. They're well coached.
Okay, that's good. So I'm going to individualize this for a second. Janae, going into your senior year, what role did you feel like you had to take, going into your final year here at RMU?
I definitely knew that I had to step up as a leader. We lost 4 seniors, and we also lost a lot of points. So I definitely had to step up in that fact as well. So yeah, I just knew that I had to be more vocal and to lead the team by example and through my voice as well.
That was Janae's role. Shakima, you don't average more than 10 points, but your contributions are definitely there. What do you feel like your role is on this team?
I feel that my role is just to influence my team positively, and that comes in different dimensions. Whether I'm making a pass or catching one, I think my role is just to be a positive influence, and sometimes that can be hard because, you know, we did suffer a loss, and like you said in the beginning, we struggled a little bit, but overall, I think just keeping a steady mindset.
So I've heard before games, pregame, I hear screeching from the locker room. Who is that?
That's me.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you both for coming on. When we come back, our very own writer, David Szymanski, will sit down with the lacrosse goalies from the men's and women's team. Stay tuned for more Colonial Sports Center.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high-five.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. I'm joined by the two starting goalies for Robert Morris Lacrosse, Alex Hegger and Caitlin Miller. It's great to have you guys on the show. I've got to ask you guys, I think that playing goalie in lacrosse is the least desirable position in sports. So what made you guys interested in playing goalie?
Actually, my first practice, my coach shouted out to the players. He said, "Hey, who wants to play goalie?" And I raised my hand and said, "Hey, that's me. I'll try it out." And I stuck with it ever since.
That's awesome. What about you, Caitlin?
Yeah, I was originally a defender, and I wasn't very good at it. So I asked my coach if I could hop in the cage, and it kind of came naturally, so I just stuck with it.
So in sticking with being goalies, it certainly takes a different mindset because typically when you win games, it goes to the person who scored the game-winning goal. And you guys, whether you guys had a great game or not, may not get all of the credit that you deserve. Do you guys ever feel underappreciated in big wins?
No, not really. I mean, it's a team game. If our defense plays well, typically I play well. They give me shots I want to see. So all credit goes out to the guy who scores the game-winning goal or my defense played really well.
Right. I mean, there's 10, 11 other girls in front of you, so it's a team effort. It's not just put on one person or one goalie or one attacker. It's a team effort.
Right. So similarly, if you guys let up a goal at the end of the game, to lose by one. I think you guys earlier this year lost a game by one goal. Do you guys ever feel like the blame falls more so on you guys, considering you let in the goal?
I think it kind of goes back to the same thing. It's all a team effort. It can't just fall on one person. I mean, if we give up an easy goal, last 5-10 seconds, then that's on everyone.
Right.
Right. And so we've talked a good bit about you guys being goalies, but now looking more towards as your guys' team. You guys are 2-1 on the year with your only loss coming against Penn State. What are your guys' goals for the year?
Definitely our goal is to win the NEC championship. I think we have a really good shot of contending this year.
Who will your biggest competition be?
St. Joe's, definitely St. Joe's. They're a big name. We actually delivered their first loss last year in NECs, so I think we can have a pretty good run on them this year.
When you guys play a great team like Penn State, what's the difference between playing against NEC teams? Because they're highly ranked. I think they're 15 in the country. What's the difference there?
Honestly, at this level, the Division I level, there's not a big difference between competition in a top 10 team and someone who's lower in the rankings. It definitely depends on how bad you want it. The ground ball battle's big. It all depends on effort stats, definitely.
Caitlin, you guys are 1-2 on the year. You guys are coming off of a huge win against Central Michigan. What's your team's goal for the year?
Like Alex said, I mean, our main goal is to win the NEC and get the ring.
And what do you think the biggest obstacle is standing in your way? Is it a team? Is it your guys' individual effort? What does it come down to?
I mean, individually, we all come together, and we're a great team. We have great freshmen coming in, and I think our biggest challenge will be Wagner and Bryant.
So, Caitlin, you're a freshman.
Yes.
So you've played 3 games at the collegiate level. What's the difference between high school and college lacrosse?
It's more intense, very much. It means a lot more, and it's more fun.
And so do you notice a difference in the pace of the game? Is it how they control the ball? Is it the number of shots? Is it the speed of the shot? What do you think it comes down to, the difference?
Well, it's definitely the speed of the shot is much quicker. Now that we have the shot clock for women's lacrosse, it speeds up the game a lot.
Right. And what I want to end on is Robert Morris Athletics has been in the news recently. They just announced a new event center. It's a $50 million project. What do you guys think that means for athletics and the university?
It's not really going to make a huge difference for the lacrosse team, but definitely overall it's going to be really cool. Definitely a great place to watch.
Great.
Watch
That's all the
basketball.
time we're going to have. Thank you guys for coming on, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thanks.
When we come back, we'll have more from Rashad and Ian.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. And before we end the show, we'll do like we always, the upcoming games at RMU Athletics. Friday, women's lacrosse, St. Mary's, women's hockey, Lindenwood. Busy day Saturday. Rashad, if you want to sum it up a little bit.
We're just going to move right into Saturday. Men's lacrosse versus Detroit. Women's basketball, Sacred Heart. Huge games for all these teams. Women's hockey at Lindenwood, men's basketball, Sacred Heart, and men's hockey, Niagara.
And then Sunday, the big game at Heinz Field.
Yep.
So you
Highlight
get
of the
that game
weekend.
hype. Yeah, the game of the weekend. They're all important, but that game is for sure and very important. Heinz Field, big stage. And Rashad, it's been an action-packed show, but it's all that we have for you guys. Today, our viewers, come back next Thursday for another edition of Colonial Sports Center with Rashad and I.